I want to bring in Tulsi Gabbard, who's a senior advisor to us, a senior analyst on the broadcast. You've dealt with this yourself in the sense of these allegations that get made, especially, I mean, people love the Russia allegation. Tell people what that was like.
Yeah, Jordan, the danger of what we're seeing here that's being revealed here in the Durham report is something, unfortunately, that isn't new. As you've just pointed out, people like myself and others who have dared to challenge the permanent Washington establishment have often been met with these smears and attacks and accusations of being a Putin puppet or a Russian asset or a traitor or committing treasonous actions by people who are not interested in the truth. They're not interested in presenting any evidence to the American people as they're making these really, really horrendous and very serious accusations. You know, Senator Mitt Romney put out a tweet accusing me of committing a treasonous act. An accusation that is actually punishable by death under the U.S. law. These are very serious accusations. And what we're seeing here that's been revealed in the Durham report is that those officials within the FBI similarly were not interested in following the facts and being unbiased in their pursuit of frankly following the law. They were pursuing their own political interests, and their political interest in this case was to try to demonize and undermine President Trump, undermine the city. Obviously, this started during the campaign itself, but it continued through his presidency with people within the national security state trying to undermine a sitting president of the United States. Now, we look back through the history of the FBI, we again see that this kind of weaponization and politicization of law enforcement agencies is not new. We have the FBI still, the letters prominently shown on their building. This is the J. Edgar Hoover building. Well, look at the guy who is historically famous for weaponizing the FBI to go after political opponents, politicizing that agency. And so when we look at the lack of accountability, we can see why there has not been change within that agency and others within the federal government over decades. How can there be any change if there is no accountability? They have not sought to rename the J. Edgar Hoover building. They have not sought to bring about a true culture change within that agency that ensures that it is unbiased and focused on fulfilling its mission. So there is deep change that's required within the FBI, rooting out these corrupt elements that have existed there for a very long time that's allowed this to go on. This is kind of the bigger issue that we're pointing to here is that, when it benefits the party that's in power, these actions basically are swept under the rug. But once the tables are turned, then it's, raising hell and how do we bring these people to account? And these are criminal activities. And this is where we need Democrats and Republicans to step up and actually be real leaders in Congress and recognize the threat to our democracy when they allow these things to go on unchecked. Because as we see, if you allow this precedent to be set, the politicizing and weaponization of our federal institutions on one side, then very quickly the tables can turn and it will be used against those who are abusing their power today. So if they don't recognize the threat to this democracy, the reality of the American people losing faith and trust in those who are leading these institutions, then we will only continue to see this problem get worse.